Now, for the first time in 2 decades, we need to find a starting quarterback for the future. We need to find a new guy to look forward. And it's always the saying goes, you never want to be the guy replacing the guy. You always want to be the guy replacing the guy replacing the guy. So it's going to be tough shoes for whoever steps in under center for week 1 for New England next year in 2020. But at least I think that, there's been some options and kind of the assumed rumor or the assumed name that would say, oh man, this guy's going to come in and they're going to win 10 games, 11 games and go back to the playoffs and maybe even go to a Super Bowl is Andy Dalton. And at least to me, I don't see how that's going to be possible. For me, at least right now, I think the starting quarterback for the Patriots should be and will be a guy already on the roster, Jarrett Stidham. And there's at least a few reasons why I think this is really the only option the Patriots have, and at least sets them up for the future as well to compete. So one of the reasons why, just pure money, just pure dollars and cents, they don't have any cap room. You look at the Patriots, they have basically just under $3 million in cap space available. So what does that mean? They have some flexibility. They can trade a few guys. They franchise tagged Joe Tooney, an offensive lineman. They could trade him, get his salary off the books. But let's just say they don't do any drastic moves right now and at least stay around $3 million, maybe even, let's just say stay under $10 million per se, for argument's sake, right? In cap space. Well, if that's the case, they don't have room for Andy Dalton. They don't have room to sign Jameis Winston. They don't have room and the capability and the money to sign Cam Newton. So with their limited amount of cap space already, they don't have enough money to bring in any of these bigger name kind of guys to come in and take over for Tom Brady. Unless you trade, if the Bengals trade the Patriots and they eat a lot of their Andy Dalton's salary, other than that, there's really no way that you can bring in a big name guy that's already not in your team in to play quarterback. And what's interesting too in the cap space, if you look at the numbers, not just this year, but next year, 2021, the Patriots have so much money coming off their books, they'll have over $100 million in cap space. So they will go from one of the least flexible teams in cap in money this year. Next year, the complete opposite. They will be the teams that have some of the most money to spend. So if you're Bill Belichick, you kind of view that as, all right, basically have to get through this year, see what I can do, basically just tread water, and from there, I can really rebuild this team, reload this team, get younger at a ton of different positions, and kind of remold the team into my identity, my thoughts. Another reason why I think Jarrett Stidham will be the guy. So the Patriots have 12 draft picks. We know Bill Belichick loves his draft picks. He loves his late-round draft picks. He really trades up, really trades them, right? Because he really values the draft, building through the draft, and getting that cheap labor and putting those guys plug and play. So number 23 in the first round, no second-round pick. So with the Patriots, at least, they are in a tough position where if you think they can trade up to get a quarterback or draft a quarterback, that's a cheap labor right there. You can plug him in and at least work the cap space where you can get a guy already in this year to replace Tom Brady. It's tough because when you're at number 23 and when you have no second round pick, we know Belichick does not like giving up draft picks. He really does trade up. So it's tough to envision the Patriots jumping all the way to number 3 or number 4 or number 5 or even number 7 because a lot of these top 4 guys with Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, and Jordan Love, they're going to go early. We all know quarterbacks, their draft stock is always elevated because the quarterback position is so important because teams are so desperate. And now at least when you have teams like the Bengals, who would just absolutely shock if they don't take Joe Burrow. You have the Redskins flirting with taking the idea of Tua Tagovailoa. You have the Chargers and you have the Dolphins interested in taking a quarterback. There are teams with needs at the quarterback position that could pull the trigger on a guy. So it's tough to see Bill Belichick and envisioning him trading all the way up to kind of get a quarterback and kind of get the quarterback of the future. Especially when they're so cap-strapped as they are, that if they trade draft picks, that means basically that with the limited cap space they already have, it's tough for them to add talent to the roster and, again, continue to evolve and build this roster to be the best it can. And my third reasoning for Jarrett Stidham is because Bill Belichick already knows the landscape of the NFL. He sees it. He wants to build his roster to mimic that, and he sees where roster building, especially the quarterback position, is going. And that is young, mobile, athletic quarterbacks. You had the report that he was interested in Lamar Jackson. Back when Lamar Jackson was draft eligible, obviously he goes the last pick of the first round to the Ravens. But there was some interest there from Belichick and the Patriots. They may take it a flyer in the second or third round. You had the rumor that they were so enamored of Baker Mayfield that they were contemplating trading all the way up to number 2 if the Browns did not draft Baker Mayfield at number 1. and draft Baker to be their quarterback and sit him behind Tom Brady. So Bill Belichick's no idiot. He's no dummy, and he sees how the NFL is trending. For 2 decades, he had a guy in Tom Brady, winningest quarterback, the GOAT, any acronym or any compliment you want to give Tom Brady is worth it, right? Any praise you want to give him is worth all the praise and all the accolades. But with that said, these last few years, you have to think it's wearing on Bill Belichick when you have a statue behind under center, when you have not a mobile guy in Tom Brady, and it's, for Bill Belichick kind of maybe feels like he's stuck without, and you see the way the NFL is shifting, he's kind of stuck where he is. So I think at least, when you look at young quarterbacks throughout the league, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, you have Josh Allen, Joe Burrow now is going to come into the league, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, all these young quarterbacks that are set to kind of take over and be the next wave, take over for the latest wave with Ben Roethlisberger, with Eli Manning, with Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees. You had that wave of quarterback play. We're all similar styles. And now you have a new wave, right? The new faces of the NFL, the new guys take over and kind of dominate the game at the quarterback position. We're all mobile or athletic and can make plays out of the pocket. So I think that's what what Belichick wants in a quarterback. He wants a mobile guy. He wants an athletic quarterback that can get out of the pocket, can make plays with his legs, be dangerous, which is something and everything that Tom Brady was not. Tom Brady was a winner. He wasn't really mobile in the pocket. He couldn't really get out and run and make plays with his feet. He did enough. He absolutely did enough. And again, the 6 Super Bowls and 3 here over the last 6 years show that, again, it's the Patriots were fine with Tom Brady. But Bill Belichick, as we know, is always an innovator, always trying to keep up with how the league is moving. Always kind of feels like he's always one step ahead, right, of a lot of the trends in the league. Jarrett Stidham is way more agile than Tom Brady. And at least in Auburn, they did run him. He had basically 5 rushing attempts a game at Auburn back in 2018, his senior year. So he's not afraid to have the ball in his hands, make plays with his legs, and at least be elusive. So at least to me, that's why I think the third reason why it's going to be Jarrett Stidham is because he kind of fits the mold of the NFL quarterback right now. He's athletic. He's young. He can make plays with his feet. He can run the ball if he has to, which is what Bill Belichick is looking for. And finally, at least, this latest signing, which is Brian Hoyer on Sunday, at least to me, kind of shows that they are sticking with what they have right now, which is Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer. Because basically Hoyer, now in his 3rd different term in New England, absolutely crazy, is that he's an insurance policy. He is absolutely an insurance policy in case Jarrett Stidham doesn't work out, is the quarterback that you think, is not as good as maybe Belichick and Josh McDaniels hoped for. And this is a guy now you bring in who's familiar with the offense to where if Stidham gets hurt or is just ineffective and just can't be played anymore, Brian Hoyer can go in there, keep the team afloat, has familiarity, so just could basically, doesn't have to worry about learning the offense again and again and again. And not to mention, too, with him being a veteran, already being in this system 2 different times, he can really mentor Jarrett Stidham. He can help him understand the offense. He can help him understand reads, what it takes to be a starting quarterback. At least according to Brian Hoyer's agent, the Patriots gave him a chance to win, or a chance to win the starting job, So Jarrett Stidham, I think, is going to battle with Brian Hoyer. I think it will be Jarrett Stidham. At least it makes the most sense for 2020, at least, to play him because, one, you know what you have. So if you have a young quarterback on the roster, either he can play or he can't play. And 2, worst case scenario, if Jarrett Stidham doesn't play well, doesn't live up to the hype, doesn't live up to the evaluation that, again, McDaniels and Belichick thought, well, guess what? You can restart. Hit the reset button. 2021, you have a ton of cap room. So you can either make a trade for a quarterback under contract. You can, the free agent class, I did look at it, is not great. It is pretty bad. You can trade up if you want with draft picks, or you can draft a quarterback. There are plenty more options for the Patriots in 2021 than they have in 2020. So don't get your hopes if you're a Patriots fan that Cam Newton's coming to town, that Jameis Winston's coming to town, that Andy Dalton could come to town. I think the Patriots are set. I think it's going to be Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer. You see what Stidham has this year? If he's good, great. You can build around him. You have a ton of money to then get him some weapons, address the offensive line, address the tight end position, address the wide receiver position. If he stinks, you know what you have. You can get rid of him. You still have Brian Hoyer there as a capable backup. And now you can bring in whatever quarterback you see fit, either from another team or in the draft, to help improve your team and get better and really continue the Patriots dynasty. Or I should say restart, I guess, because you really can't continue it with Tom Brady kind of out now. So maybe restart and kind of reset a new legacy for Bill Belichick and this New England Patriots team. So let's get your thoughts. I think Jarrett Stidham's going to be the guy and should be the guy. You have to find out what you have. And going forward, at least, one way or another by the time 2021 comes. You have a guy or you don't. You have to draft a guy or you can keep him. And you have a ton of flexibility cap-wise and draft-wise. Do whatever you have to do to make sure you can get the quarterback that you want on your team to, again, restart the dynasty, get a new identity, and, again, take the Patriots, leave the Tom Brady legacy behind, and start to build your own with this new team.